The secret reality that most music creators have is they want hit records, but they don't know how to create them. Many of you all wallow in confusion for years, imitating and replicating major acts, but that's not what's going to get you there. When I was making records, I was in the same place just like you until I worked with an artist by the name of Baby Rose, and I learned how to target audiences. But if you want to learn how to turn those imitation records into addictive audio dopamine products, tune into today's episode of the Music Money Makeover Show. First things first is we got to spin the block on your target listener like this, because you left them back there. The number one mistake music creators make is not setting their intentions on a target listener when they write. This leads to records with mixed emotions in them and in the lyrics and in the production, right? And while it's great to produce and write with the impulse of inspiration, which all of us really do, this doesn't always result in a high level reception. So you need to learn how to cultivate and control that impulse. You want to define your target listener as an avatar you're pursuing so your songs can develop maximum audio dopamine levels. The hint here is to focus on your past perceived voids. You say, well, hey man, what is a past perceived void and how do you target these people to make those dopamine levels rise? Well, let's focus in on that target person. You might think that targeting this person is who you are right now when you're writing. But really, in order to write for who you are right now, you had to have at least 5 years of experience prior to make that thought point that you're going to put down on paper or in your iPad or in your phone or just coming from your brain. In order to craft context around your subject, it's going to come from past experiences, not right now. Of course, the experience that you get or the inspiration that you get right now is able to be developed because of all the doors that have been opened 5 years prior. So technically, the person that you're writing for and the audience that you're actually targeting is about 5 years younger, because those are the people that are going to resonate with what you're saying today, the clearest and the most. See what I'm saying? So if you got that, then let's continue through this process here, because today we're going to get pretty deep. All right, check it out. You want to target their desires. It'll create a fan for life. Desires, baby. The truth about music listeners is they desire what they think they miss or lack. While artists often write from an emotional standpoint, which many of us do, listeners primarily only care about their own desires. That's the disconnect. Although it's enjoyable to write solely from inspiration, because we love to wait on that. When you want to touch people's hearts and their minds, you must target their desires. Because if you don't, you'll struggle to engage your listeners. But if you hit the right notes, though, they'll be captivated and listen over and over again. So you want to focus on the desires, because the desires are the pathways to dopamine. That's your hint right there. Well, how do we get to the desires? Okay, let me explain what desires are, and I'm gonna break down emotions. So you want to speak to people's desires. Their desires, it's like an open void in their soul almost, and it needs to be fulfilled. This void, it expands over time. I'm broke right now. Okay, this is the beginning of my brokenness. I don't like it. But as time goes on and I'm still broke, I have a desire to fulfill that brokenness with money. And music that helps me do that is going to win for me. So I'm looking for music to help me do that. That gets me emotional. So desires create an emotional reaction. Emotional is just energy motion. It's in the present right now. Will only ever be in the present. That's the only place it's going to exist. But desires can be in the mind in the future or in the heart in the past. And it's on us as creatives to fulfill those desires. Once we fulfill those desires, targeting that person that's really 5 years younger than where we are right now, we'll get an emotional reaction out of them. Boom. Case in point, MCs in the 1980s who wanted to let the people in the parks and stuff like that have fun. So the DJ would be spinning the brakes on the records and the MC would get on the mic to rock the party, to get an emotional reaction. But they knew that these people, they want to have fun, so I'm going to spit lyrics that makes them move and dance. This is why a lot of MCs and artists now, when they work in the studio, they don't really know how to emotionally move a crowd, because their desire themselves selfishly is to get out what's in their head on paper, and they think people will move to it. Versus, what desires do people want to have fulfilled so that they can move to it? Now, here's the last point on the emotion part. When people move on emotions now, when they begin to move on emotions, your music begins to take off. Because not only are you targeting that person from 5 years ago that's getting the most potency out of what you're saying, you're also filling their desire, and you're causing them to emotionally react to you, ultimately causing them to become a fan. Okay, I hope that wasn't too deep. Let's get a little bit deeper. Now we got to talk about your subject, because newsflash, nobody knows what the subject of your song is, okay? The one thing the industry doesn't tell creatives entering this music industry here is that listeners often want to reduce their mental effort when consuming your music and when enjoying music. When the subject matter is unclear, I'm talking to you now. When the subject matter is unclear or doesn't match the listener's desires, they can't truly focus on your song. And if they can't focus on that song, then they'll stop listening. This is where your Spotify skip rate comes in. So you must align the subject matter with the listener's desires, and then you target that person or you target that audience that's 5 years younger than you. If you do this, you'll notice your songs resonating with people. And when this begins to happen, it'll happen more quickly. It'll happen more easily than ever before. The question is, why is this going to happen? Because you're reducing the mental work that their brains need to do to process your music. That's what you're doing. Person 5 years younger than you probably needs some money, needs to get the girl, make the music for it, cause the emotional reaction. They become a fan. And the next thing you know, because you made the song clear on that desired point, we're in there. You're talking about everything but that desired point right now. So the only thing that may possibly save you in this scenario is the production being really, really good. But if the production is good, but the song is blah, you're not gonna go anywhere. But if the production is good and the song is up here, oh my God, you got a hit record straight out the streets. If the track is down here, but the song is up here, you can still get out. But matching those two together, we talking about crazy dopamine levels in the brain spiking when we hear it. Clarity is what this thing is all about. If that was too much for you, let me pile on some more, because I'm not done yet. Check this out. In the words of the Saint Lunatics, what's the hook gonna be? Because you ain't got one. Veteran writers and producers create simple, clear, and catchy hooks. Again, ask me why. Why? Because they move past the more is more phase, which is where you are now. You're a rapidy rapper, a writery writer. Wordy hooks might sound cool to you, but to listeners, they're a reason to skip. Here's your Spotify skip rate again. Listeners subconsciously ask, is it melodically sound? Is the lingo good? Is it easily repeatable for me? Not for you, for me. Is it singable? Is it memorable? Can it stick in their minds for up to 24 hours after the first listen? If your song can do that, then you got the essence of great audio dopamine, right? In your recording. And then you also have the essence of a great audio dopamine producer. If you can't make it clear, if you can't make the hook memorable, what are we talking about here? I get that everything is not going to be a hit record, but you want to practice to move towards that. Okay, case in point, I'm gonna give you two options here. Actually, I'm gonna give you three. I'm gonna give you a Temptations record, boom, ba-da-da, boom, boom. I know you wanna leave me, right? You know that boom, ba-da-da, boom, boom. When it happens, when you hear Pharrell's Happy, bum, 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 which Pharrell does his four point counting a lot. It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. And you know that opening line because of the bum, 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 bum. Or in F the Police with Ice Cube. F the police coming straight from the underground. A young brother got it bad cause I'm brown. You know that line. You might not know none of the other lines in the joint, but when you hear that, after police coming straight from the underground, you gonna follow it up with the next line that immediately comes behind that. But as a new writer, as a new artist, you're not writing from that standpoint. It's me, it's my creation. I have to say this. You're not buying your creation. The people are. You're the MC. You got to move the crowd. You got to get the emotional reaction so you can get the fan. It starts in the music. It's not some marketing efforts that we're going to talk about later in the month. It's not that stuff. It's the music. And you're missing a lot of points here. And if you think that was enough, I still got to dig into this. All right. Because I know you're getting ready to ask me some questions. So let's keep going. So many of you will ask me now, why should I be so intentional at this point? You gave me a lot of game. Why should I be so intentional? Many of you resist being intentional because you're ego driven. Just like I just said, it's all about me, 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 me. However, it's crucial to remember, as I've just said, that your fans and your customers pay you, not the other way around. That's why it's essential to sit down, to focus, and to be intentional about what you're writing and producing. You have to be intentional about all this stuff. It ain't about you. You know what I'm saying? And I'll reiterate it again. The fans pay you. You don't pay you. The customers do. You don't. But the customer doesn't know what they want, right? Customer always knows what they want. People often quote Steve Jobs saying customers don't know what they want, but this isn't true. Customers always know what they want. They desire the fundamental human desires, the human needs expressed through songs. You see, it's your job to deliver these desires through your music. That's your job. Humans are so predictable. They all want the same things. So if you want to be creative, focus on those desires. These basic desires are money, security, sensual and sexual fulfillment, creative expression, power and influence, community, relationships, love, wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and inner peace. Most people prioritize the needs at the bottom of this list because they're in survival mode. Since they're in survival mode, that's why money, sex, drugs, and all this stuff rules in the music. And it's easier to create that music because people are having a hard time in society surviving. That's why that music works like that. But then there's a group of people who want conscious rap, right? I need to be enlightened in the mind. The NWA record, that was about self-expression. That's what that was. I'm bringing awareness and I'm expressing myself to those who would love to be rebellious against these people who are oppressing us. That's what that was about. So it spoke to the desire of self-expression because I can't seem to express myself with these societal issues. So anyway, I kind of got off the sex and the drugs things, but that's only because people are using those methods to figure out what in the world am I doing in this game of life. And if I can have a soundtrack that just help me through it, I can make it. And so people go to the low level energy songs because it's a quick fix. So anyway, I don't want to get on a soapbox here. But what about innovation? What about being different? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're telling me to write from a script. You're telling me to write in a format. Innovation and uniqueness are technical achievements, while human desire is rooted in spiritual and emotional foundations. See what I'm saying? This core element remains constant. Over the years, technology has revolutionized the sound of music, but the emotions expressed through lyrics and song have remained unchanged. Because emotion is just energy in motion. The fundamental human desires conveyed through music is timeless. All of them, the fundamental human desires conveyed through music are timeless. It's all the same thing. So here's what you can do to improve what you got going on. I want you to meditate on your writing process and production process and frame it in this way that we just talked about today. I also want you to set the right intentions when you produce and when you write your records, right? Because that's going to allow you to keep the clarity there and keep the focus there on the subject matter. And lastly, you always want to keep the targeted listener in mind when crafting the song, that person or who you were 5 years prior, or that person 5 years younger than you. This will ultimately increase all the royalties in the accounts that many of you have created with my 60-day record label system. So join the 2,000 others who've done so already beneath this video right now today. But I do want to say this, okay? After all of that, the upside, the payoff, the powerful results of writing in this manner, it will just increase the placements. I can't say, the fans will increase, the streams will increase, its use cases will increase, the royalties and the revenue will increase, and you'll find yourself amongst the great writers very, very fast. So much so that it might actually shock you. You might say, dang, Casey, like I watched this video and I thought you was really playing around, but you really were serious. So if you write your hooks or your raps the rapidy rap way, like your DOS Effects or somebody, you know what I'm saying? I got to write every word. If you continue to take the low road, you're going to exert a lot of energy and effort on songs and records that nobody wants, taking a blow to your ego and spirit. This causes you to mentally suffer and emotionally suffer. That's an energy point. And sometimes to the point where a creative cannot stand it, which is you. And eventually you'll end up bowing out of the game, or you'll switch your position and you'll start writing better. Somebody will pull you aside. Hopefully this video does that. But ultimately you transform into this amazing artist, because some of you have been struggling with the unclear records and too many words in your hooks and the lack of melody or unmemorable songs. You know what I'm saying? However, if you apply all of these methods that we talked about today, you'll transform your music career to heights that you never thought possible. And that's what I want you to do. Remember, people don't listen to the best songs. They listen to the songs they can understand the quickest, the easiest, the fastest, the clearest. It's a quick fix, quick fix, quick fix. That's how quick emotions are. In the moment, energy, motion in the moment. Fix me quickly. Give me that rush of dopamine. The more rushes of dopamine you can give me, the more I'm going to listen to you, and then I become a fan, and then I become a supporter, and then I'm there buying a ticket to your experience. That's ultimately what we do, but we have to get them at the music first. Before the marketing techniques, before the music, man. Get the music right. We get the music right, we're winning. Music money makers, if you make music, you should always make money. Log on to musicmoneymakeover.com, jump into the 60-day record label course beneath this video, grab the free stuff beneath this video. You can also book a call there. And while you're down beneath this video, smash the like button, share it with somebody, make a comment, and guess what? I'll see you next time. Peace.